think you are? I'm asking questions.
Yes.
I want to ask Greta some questions.
Yes.
Don't touch me. What are you doing? You apologize for hitting me?
Hitting you?
Yes.
Bullshit.
You punched me in the gut 3 times. Your hands on me wasn't a part of this. You didn't need to be a part of this. You could have left me alone. Turned out fine, didn't it? You could have left me alone. You didn't, and it's gonna blow back on you. How does a 15-year-old girl bewitch the world? She doesn't, at least not alone. Greta Thunberg's rise to fame over the course of several months is not nearly as innocuous as it might appear from the outside. Rather, Greta's rise was facilitated by elites from around the world. The campaign to canonize Greta as a saint in the eyes of the world's leftist Zoomers and Boomers alike was coordinated, it was orchestrated and executed nearly flawlessly. Nobody has bothered to dig deep into the rise of her messiahhood until now. I've just landed in Stockholm, Sweden to do just that, to expose the lies that Greta's handlers have built her movement on.
That is an excerpt from our new Rebel documentary called Greta Inc., starring our friend Keean Bexte, who went all the way to Stockholm, Sweden. He joins us now via Skype from Calgary. Well, Keean, congratulations. We launched your documentary 3.5 hours ago at the time of our taping this right now. I was just checking the stats. We have approximately 50,000 views, 5.2 thousand people, 5,200 people have liked it, only 138 don't. And we've had over 1,500 viewer comments. I think we got ourselves a hit. What do you think?
I think so too, and you can tell that Greta is a little bit worried. Every now and then when I publish something about Greta, you can always read her tweets and get some cryptic message out of it. And what I find funny today is we've announced this documentary about 14 hours ago. We announced it last night, and we put it on YouTube. We queued it on YouTube. And since then, Greta has tweeted or shared tweets 18 times. And that was basically just this morning when the documentary went live, which I think is hilarious because the mainstream media is going to eat up everything Greta puts out to her 4 million followers, and she's kicking it into overdrive now. Looks like a little bit of damage control.
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment in your documentary, and I just want to play this clip for our viewers. Greta has been doing this climate strike for more than a year, and she's been one of the great media hounds of our time. You went down to New York City when she arrived on that boat. There were dozens of journalists. Everywhere she goes, dozens of journalists. I think it's modest and conservative to say that she has met 1,000 journalists in the last year and a half. I mean, that's not that big a number. That's 3 or 4 a day. She probably deals with 10 journalists a day. That's really all she is a PR front. So for her to remember you based on one meeting in Edmonton, let me play that clip from the documentary. Here, take a look.
Greta, would you be able to tell me
Hey.
what school are you actually striking from? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Show me your press card.
I think it was basically a school.
Yes. So when you actually started your school strike, were you leaving the classroom or did you have a day off from your school that you were at? You know the school that you go to, you have multiple days off a week. You don't actually have to go to class 9 to 5. Did you walk valiantly from the classroom like you've led the world to believe? Or did you just have days off on Friday?
Nice to meet you again. I remember you from Edmonton.
Yes. I remember your Tesla. It was full of plastic.
Oh, it was not my Tesla. I shared it with many others.
So there you are in Stockholm, Sweden, thousands of miles away from where she met you months ago in Edmonton. But she still remembers you. I don't think she remembers 99% of the journalistic stenographers who say, Greta, Greta. But I think she remembered you, Keean, because you were the first and only journalist ever to ask her an accountability style question.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's accurate. After one question, actually, I was asking her a few questions in Stockholm. It triggered her memory, and she remembered, oh, the only other time I've ever been asked a tough question is when I was in Edmonton, and you're that guy. And then I asked her about her Tesla, of course, and she said, oh, well, that wasn't my Tesla. So it's clear that Greta is actually watching our content. It's clear that Greta is aware of what we're putting out, especially that Tesla vid full of plastic when we asked her fawning supporters what they would think about someone's Tesla full of plastic, and then we told them that it was actually Greta's Tesla. It shows that what we're doing is stinging. It's stinging both Greta and the cabal of leftist eco-elites that are propping her up. So I'm very proud of this documentary because I think that we're doing something that nobody in the world has really done, either reporters in Sweden or the reporters that happily followed her along the intercontinental field trip from the BBC, the ones that flew out to meet her in Edmonton to film that documentary. I'm glad that we were able to release this one before anyone else has really bothered to look into it.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.